playing bass as a traveling musician who doesn't always have an amp on stage. I don't know if that made sense. What's going on, guys? I'm Elon JD. I'm a professional touring musician. I'm a recording artist. I'm a singer. I'm a bass player. In the past year, if you've seen me perform, you probably have seen me perform without an amp on stage. And part of that reason is because I am not playing with an amp on stage. So before we get started, I just want to point out, I do not receive any money from any of these companies I'm going to be talking about today. So this is just my opinion. Let's move on. Okay, first off, performing on stage with an amp is something we've been doing for decades, right? There's no replacement for pushing air through a cabinet and feeling the bass hit the stage and everybody's vibing. It's a great thing. At the point where I realized that I was going to play without one was when I started to travel more, and I was at the level that I didn't really have like a backline system set up to where every gig I showed up, there just happened to be an amp there. A lot of the stuff that I do and the people that I play with is very grassroots, and so we're very hands-on with everything. And so I had to come up with a solution to help with convenience and also with travel. You know, sometimes I'm taking flights across the country or out of country, and I want to be able to keep a consistent sound. It's really hard to keep a consistent sound when every night you're using a different amp, or there's no amp and then you're at the whims of, you know, whatever the sound guy can provide for you at that time. So first off, the meat and potatoes of my whole rig when I play without an amp is this little guy right here, my Tone Hammer pedal. Okay, so without this thing, I would not be able to get the juicy tone that I get out of my bass. I think it's really important if you're deciding to go and play without an amp on stage that you choose some form of a preamp or some form of a direct box that really retains your tone. The reason that I chose the Tone Hammer pedal is because I use the Tone Hammer 500 with two SL112 cabs. I think it's an amazing sounding rig, and I think it's really awesome that they also made a pedal, you know, that basically just emulates exactly what the head does. In fact, I think it's the other way around. Correct me if I'm wrong. You know, let me know in the comments if the Tone Hammer pedal came out before the Tone Hammer amp. I don't really know that information. However, I thought it would be a good way to kind of get into playing live without using an amp. Plus, all the controls that I have on here are the exact same controls that I have on my Tone Hammer head. So when it comes to shaping my tone on stage, that's one thing that's really important. I'm going to shape my tone right here, and then I'm going to send it out, right? Send it out to the front of house. So that's why I use this. Another piece of equipment that I like to use in order to really control the tone of what I'm doing is in-ear monitors. I'm currently using the XVive or XVive U4 system. It's a really inexpensive, cool digital in-ear wireless monitor system that you can purchase for very cheap, considering how much an in-ear monitor system costs. This is definitely on the cheaper end, and it sounds amazing. It works perfectly. I found that having a stage monitor isn't exactly the most ideal situation, so I found using in-ear monitors to be the next level up. One of the other pros of using this kind of setup is that you really have control of your tone, you really have control of your stage volume, and you are able to protect your ears. I have been in several situations to where musicians I'm playing with are either too loud or too soft, and I found that I can just use some kind of system with in-ears that I can boost them in my signal without asking them to actually turn themselves up. I think it's really important that you have full control over your sound and what you're taking in on stage, because that's different for everyone, you know, and that's one of the perks of using like an in-ear system and also using a direct box instead of an amp. So there are times where I'm on stage and you may be competing with volume with another musician, and the solution might be for you to turn up. Well, now the overall stage volume is just louder, and that also affects what's happening out in the front of the house. So by having the system, you kind of get rid of that issue altogether. By me just having it in my ears, I can turn up and turn down whatever I want. I'm hearing my exact tone because I'm using my tone hammer pedal, and all is well in the world. So, some of the pros I would say with this are the convenience of setup, right? It's a really small rig. It's very easy to just throw in your gig bag and keep it moving. The travel is very easy. Once again, it's a very compact system, so you're just traveling with it like in a handbag or in your gig bag. You can control your tone, stage volume, and most important, I would say, is protecting your ears. I can't stress enough, these are your money makers right here, right? We like to think these are the money makers or this or whatever, but really the money makers are your ears. And if you can't hear, or if you start, losing your hearing sooner than you should, that will definitely be a detriment to your career. Just wanted to share a couple of the reasons why I decided to kind of go this route. Now, that's not to say that I will never use an amp on stage. In fact, I do still use an amp on stage for a lot of the shows, but it's nice to have something like this just in case I'm in a situation where I can't have that ideal amp setup. So if you're considering going the route of ampless on stage, or you just want to control your sound a little bit more and have a more controlled environment by using an in-ear system and perhaps a DI pedal like the Aguilar Tone Hammer, this might be the way you can do it. And I hope that this information was helpful to some of you. Please like and subscribe if you like this content. This is kind of fun for me to do, just sharing what I have going on, and I'm hoping I'm helping some of you out there. My name is Elon JD. I'll see you on the next one.